Here are 5 indie games that I played last year that you should try out. Super Meat Boy. Introducing Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is a simple platformer where you're on a quest to rescue Bandage Girl. There are 8 worlds, with 5 of them having 40 levels in each world. On top of that, most worlds will have warp zones that are hidden throughout the levels that lead to bonus stages, and sometimes you can unlock new characters in them. The game also has collectibles in the forms of bandages, which you can collect to unlock characters. In order to unlock a new world, you're going to have to complete 15 levels of that world and beat the boss. Whenever you get an A+ in a level, you unlock the Dark World counterpart level, which will be a lot harder to beat than the normal level. You don't need to beat the Dark World levels unless you're going for the true ending, which will require you to beat 85 Dark World levels. Overall, the game starts off pretty easy and isn't much of a challenge, but as you go through the worlds, it will get harder. If you like a challenging game, check out Super Meat Boy. Katana Zero. Katana Zero is a great game with an amazing story. You control Zero, an assassin that wears a bathrobe and has a katana. You can rewind time and slow down time, but this does come with a cost. You can only remember so much, so if you take your time in a room, it will knock them out after the timer empties. You can kill enemies by slashing them with a sword or throwing items at the enemies. Now if you got good timing or use the slowdown, you can even reflect bullets, or if there's too many bullets, you can roll, which makes you invisible for a brief time. The game also has a couple different swords that you can use, but they're not available until you beat the game and find the keys for each respective sword. Also, the game has an amazing soundtrack, so if you haven't checked out the soundtrack, check it out. The game has an amazing story with some choices that will affect some outcomes, and after you beat the game, you will unlock speedrun mode and hard mode. Speedrun mode is pretty straightforward, it's just a game with a timer and a death counter. While hard mode is a different game entirely. There are more enemies and tougher enemies. Now you may be thinking it's a bit harder than normal, but it's not. It's more like going from very easy to expert plus. So if you like a challenge, you can try hard mode to show the difference. I will now play 3 floors on normal and on hard mode on the same level. Also, while I'm playing these floors, I do want to note that I am a speedrunner for this game, so I'm gonna pretty much breeze through these 3 floors. Even though the game is good, it does have 2 issues. First, the game is not complete, so if you beat it, you will be left at a cliffhanger. And second, the game has hit pause. That is extremely annoying, as it will stop everything when you land a hit or get a kill. If you plan on playing this game, I would suggest setting the hit pause to 0% unless you want to get a headache. Noita. Noita is a 2D roguelike where you play as a wizard. The game doesn't give you a story and just plops you down on your journey. You play as a wizard that will spawn in with 2 wands and a bottle or a sack filled with random stuff. Each time you play, the wand and the map layout will be different. The wand can be customized as sanctuaries or if you got a skill for it. The game doesn't give you a goal, but each time you go deeper into the cave, you will get an achievement that hints you're going the right way. There are currently 8 floors in the main cave, with each floor having a temple where you can heal up, buy wands, or wand spells, and 3 random perks that you can choose from. Also, the deeper you go, the stronger and tankier the enemies will get, but also the better wands and wand spells that can spawn, until you reach the last floor where you will face the final boss. However, completing the game is only a very small part of the game. On top of exploration, there is lore scattered throughout the map, in the forms of scrolls and writing, some of which you'll be able to read, while others may need to be translated. The game also has secrets that are hidden throughout the maps that you can find. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. The simplest way I can think to explain Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom is if you combine Super Mario 64, a parkour game, Pizza Tower, and made the main character a taxi. You're a taxi and your main goal is to collect all the green gears. The more gears you collect, the more levels you unlock and the farther along the story will get. The taxi you control can dash, jump, and do backwards jumps. There are also 2 types of levels, normal levels and time levels, where you have a timer that if it gets to 0, knocks you out. The game has a world map to show you all the levels and where they connect, and also all the gears you have collected and the missing ones in all the levels. Each of the main levels have their own theme. The game also has hats you can collect by finding them and buying them with coins. On top of that, the game has a cast of characters that you will see throughout the levels, such as a dog, a lawyer, the buff dudes, and many more. If this seems like your type of game, you can try the demo on Steam that has the first 2 levels, or you can buy it in Steam. Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki, or if you translate it, Dream Diary, has to be one of the weirdest games I have ever played. The game is free, so you can download it if you want. Now, compared to other games, I'm not going to show that much interesting gameplay since the game's main theme is exploring. If I show too much gameplay, it would just spoil the game. The game is a 2D walking simulator. When you start playing for the first time, you'll start in your apartment. Here you can walk to the balcony, use the gaming console on the floor, save your game by sitting in the chair, and go to sleep. To start the main game, you need to go to sleep. You will spawn in the dream version of your apartment. But now you can use the door that will take you to the dream hub. Here's where you'll be able to enter the doors that will take you to different areas. Now the game doesn't tell you the main goal to complete the game, but I will tell you. To complete the game, you're going to need to pick up every perk and drop it in the dream hub. This may seem easy at first, but if you're going in blind, it will take you quite a while to complete. Now you may want to look up a guide, but be warned, using a guide will literally ruin the game since the game is exploring and figuring out where to go and seeing what's interactable. However, there are some places where a guide is needed, so I will suggest playing the game blind and only using a guide once you get stuck or don't know where to go.